It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Welcome to the Women's Exclusive, a podcast where you will find the resources and fresh perspectives to take action and empower yourself to build a life you love in business and in motherhood. I am Laura Lee.
And I am Gabriella. We are two mompreneurs who love creating, scaling, and building our business while tackling the joys and craziness of motherhood. Join us in this journey in the Women's Exclusive.
We want to take a moment and thank the Divas That Care Network for hosting us.
We are grateful to be surrounded by strong business women creating meaningful impact in the world.
Hello, welcome to the Women's Exclusive podcast. I am Gabriella.
And I am Laura Lee. We are so excited. We have our first interview and a very special guest joining us today, Teri Hofford.
For you who do not know Teri, she is a photographer and body image activist who's helped boudoir photographers have a better understanding of how body image impacts their work and lives. She has been referred to as an emotional dominatrix and tough love Teri for her bold approach to personal responsibility and self-love. After having been at both ends of the weight spectrum herself, Teri realized that achieving the perfect body was not the answer, but rather finding contentment with the size and shape that one is at the present is the key to feeling complete and confident. From this, Teri created what she refers to as her empowerment empire, which includes Teri Hofford Photography, Everybody's Education, an education resource for photographers to diversify the types of bodies we see in the media, and Body Image Bootcamp workshops who help women cope with their body image issues. Teri's mission is to help women shift their focus from constantly changing their bodies so they can start changing the world.
Wow, I am so excited to have Teri join us today. This is going to be like a really awesome and phenomenal episode for us.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much for jumping in, and we're so excited for this interview.
Thanks.
First of all, I just want to say that you're such an inspiration to so many women, including photographers. I haven't been in the photography industry for very long. I'm only going on 3 years, but I do specialize in boudoir. And I knew also that my mission was to change the way women felt about their bodies, to embrace their bodies and be proud of the stage they are in now. So tell us, how did you get into boudoir and what's your story?
So basically, I didn't actually know boudoir was a thing, but I was doing it without knowing that I was doing it. Like, I just always had this, like, love for photographing women in lingerie, and that sounds creepier than I meant it. But it was, like, fashion photography a little bit. Like, that's where my mind went. But just, I knew I liked working with women, and I also knew from my creative projects that I also liked working with a team, like makeup artists, hairstylists, to make kind of this vision come true. But living in Winnipeg, and prior to that living in Regina, is like very small town mentality, and like every photographer was like, that's not a job, like you can't make a living from that, you should shoot weddings. So obviously I was like, okay. But I did a personal project to show that there's not just one body type, and that was just for myself, but I invited all these women from Manitoba and Saskatchewan, because my in-laws live in Regina. So I did this project where they just showed up for like 5 minutes. They could wear as much or as little as they wanted to. It was entirely up to them. And then I took their picture. There's going to be no Photoshop, nothing. It was like in and out, quick and dirty kind of thing. And the amount of messages I got back from the women saying how confident they felt just doing the thing, like they hadn't even seen the photos yet, made me realize how important that work was, to work one-on-one with them, give them a chance to do something that scared them a little bit, and then to celebrate it, that they did the thing. So I was like, well, if I can do that in 5 minutes, what could I do if I had a day with these ladies? And then, and then it just kind of, after that, I just kind of followed my gut. That's the best way to explain it. I was like, I'm not a huge fan of shooting weddings, so we'll just put that over there for now, and jumped like full on into doing boudoir, and haven't looked back. So
that's awesome.
That's incredible. What a phenomenal way to dive into it and start. I loved what you said at the beginning there, that sounded much creepier than it was, and I can totally relate to that. So that's great. Why did you choose to dive into the education around body positive?
So when I first started boudoir, like photography groups on Facebook were not quite a thing yet. And so, but as I started to come up, it was about 2 years into me like learning my craft and becoming quite specialized in why I do what I do, shooting marginalized bodies. At that time, not a lot of people were shooting marginalized bodies. And that was who was at the forefront of my work. And so that kind of helped me elevate, I think, a bit faster. But then when Facebook groups started to be a thing, I started to notice that all the time people would be like, how do you photograph a plus size woman? Oh my God, I have somebody that's a size 16 coming in. What do I do? And like all this fear around fat bodies. And so that's kind of what got me started. So I originally had partnered with Lindsay Ray Photography out of New York. Because her mission was kind of the same. We kind of grew up the same in the photography industry. And both of us were like, well, why don't we do a workshop to help people understand that bodies are just bodies, and it doesn't, like, just because you're in a bigger body doesn't mean you need special treatment or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And it really was that. But if I go back to like when I was going to school and everything like that, for a long time, I actually went to university to be a teacher. And I went and I taught English in Korea. Like I've always been big on educating, and I'm good at it, I think. So I just kind of like fell into that role. And then with the support of like the Do More Photographers community, you and Brianna kind of took me under their wing to bring me up, asking me to do tutorials for their community. And then I just kind of like leaned into it a little bit more. I love doing, creating online content. That's so fun for me. And I love to talk, obviously. But I love standing in front of a group of people and then making them laugh and making them cry. And then also having these aha moments to recognize that they have more, like, we're not just taking photos with the work that we do. And seeing them have these shifts, not just for their clients, but also for themselves personally, is so impactful for me. And it feeds my soul like no other. So yeah, currently, awesome. I mean, it could change, but we'll see.
That's awesome. And yeah, that's actually something that even like Women for Clients, like for myself, for example, it's really hard to get in a plus size woman to do a shoot. And it's like, maybe because they see all these like boudoir photographers shooting just models or thinner. And it's like, but no, like we can do all that. Like I would love to do more of that, but it's really trying to get them in the doors and giving them that realization that you can do this too.
So I'm going to put a little responsibility on you there for a second, if you're okay with it, because I hear that all the time from photographers. Well, like, I just can't get them in my door. Mm-hmm. And the reason for that is you're not showing them that you can do that. You can talk all day, not you, but like any photographer can talk all day, every day about how they can photograph plus size women or with people with disabilities or whatever. Mm-hmm. But if people can't see it, mm-hmm. they don't care. They don't care how much you talk. They have to see it. So I urge people that are like, I can't get them in my door. Well, that might mean you have to like eat it a little bit and do model calls to get the bodies in, so you can have the work to show like you are welcome at the studio and you are celebrated at the studio. And a good rule of thumb with marginalized bodies, something I strive for in the Everybody's Education thing, is that your work should showcase at least 30% marginalized bodies, if not more so, because they are least represented in all media everywhere. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of my challenge to you, would be to like get some model calls in and get the women in, and so you can post their work, and then women will see that and be like, hey, yeah, I can do it because I saw it.
Yes. Well, awesome. I will take you up on that challenge for sure. And definitely we'll be increasing that. That's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll just throw this in there as I am plus size. I will gladly, when I'm back in Edmonton next, offer up.
Yes, of course.
Scary as that is.
We were supposed to do a shoot before you ran off back to BC.
Nicer hair. It's not minus 30. That's amazing. And I wanted to touch quickly on, I actually do a lot of Gabriella Cruz's phone calls. So I get to talk to those women, and whether or not they are plus size or they view themselves as being plus size, like they might be a size 8 and be like, I'm massive, right? And that's okay, that's a person's perception, but I definitely did feel like they were so uncomfortable all the time. And usually when I would share my own stories, that would calm them down a lot. And they were a little bit more open to that consultation phone call and moving forward with the next phase of whatever that might be for them. But yeah, that's definitely something that I experienced, is a lot of people were so nervous. And I mean, I just said, I'm nervous to do anything like that too, but it puts you in such a vulnerable state. And I loved what you said, that the focus should be like, there should be 30%, because it's not shared anywhere. So that's
I really like that tip, that 30% for sure, or more. That was definitely going to help me also be a better photographer and include more women of different sizes.
Yeah, I found it was easier because, like, a lot of people are like, oh, I can't get Black women in my studio because of where I live, or I can't get people with disabilities in my studio because of whatever reason. And it's like, well, no, that's you putting kind of those blocks up. Like, you have to go find the people, immerse in the culture, figure it out that way. But also, when I say marginalized bodies, it's not just fatter bodies. It's like everyone that we don't see. If you go to Pinterest and type in boudoir, everything you don't see is what you should be shooting more of. And shooting it for free usually, or at least with a model release in mind, so that way we can change the diversity that we do see in the photography industry, in body shape, sizes, colors, abilities, like sexual orientation, like representations of everything. And it would be just so much more beauty and diversity. Like, it's so important to me.
I love that. Love it. So seeing everything that you're saying, you are a body image activist, of course. And for those who do not know what that is, can you kind of go into more detail?
Well, yeah. So recently I actually just changed that title to body image coach. And the reason why was I was telling my mom's like, I'm just working on kind of like niching into what I really want to do. And to my mom, I was like, well, right now I'm a body image activist. She's like, what is that? That sounds angry. And I was like, okay, I'm not angry. But when people think of activism, they do think like a bit more aggressive and things like that. And I didn't want that to be the case. But what it does mean is maybe more so of a body image advocate. I want people to understand how, especially photographers, I want photographers to understand how much our own body image biases get in the way of how we interact with pose, style, photograph, light, like everything we do with our clients is impacted by our own body image issues. So that's why I now say I'm more of a coach, because I would like to help the photographers with their body image issues. So that way, then they can go forward, take what they've learned, and also understand how their biases are getting in the way, to make them better business people and more inclusive if that is something they desire.
Wow, that's incredibly powerful.
Thanks.
I'm almost speechless, because you don't hear a lot of people diving into that aspect of it, working with the photographers and their body issues, instead of or body image, sorry, instead of helping them be more open to just the other people. So I think that's so incredibly powerful, and like, wow, amazing. Good for you.
Thank you. And it's definitely one of those things, like, we don't realize how much who we are actually affects what we do. And the easiest way to think about it is like, somebody was telling me they had to do this for a project where everybody had they took the same image, and then they had to basically break down their editing process as to like, why do you think this is more beautiful than it was when you first, where it started? Like, why do you think lighting it this way is more beautiful than how when you started? So they had to critically think about why they were doing the things they were doing. And within that, you can see kind of like, oh, like I hid the tummy in the shadows, or I made her wear something that made her hide her arms because I myself am maybe not a fan of arms. So she definitely wouldn't be. And like, if you can critically think about stuff like that, it makes it a little easier to say like, holy crap, I didn't realize how much of an impact my own perception of beauty is kind of spreading out to them, even though that, to my clients, even though that's not what they asked for. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. So what would you tell, I guess, your clients who are asking, like, oh, I'm self-conscious about my middle section and all that?
Yeah, so I do in-person consultations, which are super helpful for me because I say that I'm quite empathetic. So if you're not telling me, I can feel it. You know what I mean? And I can read body language really well. So like if somebody's sitting there and their arms are crossed, like under their chest, covering their tum, I'll be like, okay, she's probably not super happy about her tummy area, which for most people is the tum.
Yeah.
But so if a client says to me, I don't really like that, I'll be like, well, here's the thing. Even if I was to like shrink it in Photoshop or hide it in a photograph, the thing is you did this thing with that stomach.
Yes.
Like, I don't necessarily want to hide it, and I don't necessarily want to celebrate it. I actually want them to correlate that I came in, I did something that scared me, I felt sexy, I looked amazing, and my stomach was with me when that happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because of that I can't, or because of that I did. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, it's just like so much focus on the body that I'm like, what we do, if you all know this as well, is that it's not actually about the physical representation at the end of the day. It's that they're doing something for themselves. It's that it's something to feel good for a minute, to touch the body, to get in touch with themselves and feel certain ways they haven't felt in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And the body is the least important part of those photographs.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's really important to set that expectation before they even step foot into the studio, to say, listen, I'm not going to hide it. I'm not going to celebrate it. If it shows up, it shows up because of whatever we're doing. If I catch you in a like full on belly laugh and you have a tummy roll, you may see that photo. Do you have to choose it? No, that's your option, but I think it's beautiful, and you need to understand that somebody thinks that it is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, when I first said I had my first boudoir photo shoot done, before I knew what boudoir actually was, I had all my photos back, and all I got back were headshots.
Oh.
Because I assumed the person didn't really know what to do with a plus size body. And that was one of the things I was like, I didn't have a problem with my stomach until somebody told me it wasn't worth being photographed. So I never wanted to be that photographer that took that away from somebody, but instead said, well, I think it's beautiful. If you don't think that right now, that's okay. But just to let you know that somebody else thinks it's worthy of being documented.
Wow. Oh, wow, again. You have such an incredible outlook that you really don't hear about.
Yes.
And there's a lot of people that have great outlooks on life, but to bring forward this aspect of your perspective that you're trying to help women see, and it's not about the hiding, it's about just having it with you. And in that moment, I think that's just like really amazing. And again, so thank you so much for the work that you do. I'm literally blown away myself. So.
Oh, thanks. Well, it's really important to me. Like for a long time, I was on the, like, and you hear this all the time, I'm a body positive photographer. And for a long time, I was that photographer that was like, don't talk negative, don't be mad. But the thing was, then I was just shutting down any feelings that people would be having. And that doesn't resolve anything. And it definitely doesn't help them feel empowered when they leave my studio. So then I started to learn more about body liberation and body neutrality, which is the idea that you maybe don't like your tummy or your arms or whatever it is, but you're not going to let that stop you from doing the thing that you want to do. Yeah. So like when I have clients that are like, oh, I can't do a boudoir shoot because I need to lose 30 pounds. It's like, no, you could do a boudoir shoot now. And if you do lose 30 pounds, you can do a boudoir shoot then. It's not like your body should not be the thing that gets in the way of you doing the things. Doesn't mean I love it. Some, like, there are days when I don't love it, but I'm not going to let it stop me. So if I'm not a huge fan of my tum one day and I look in the mirror, I'm like, ugh, is that going to stop me from wearing my crop top? No, because I love wearing crop tops. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's definitely something that I could relate to. I know that I've, even in the past, I'm like, oh, you know, I don't want to wear short shorts because I have cellulite, or I don't want to wear, now I have a mom belly and I don't want to wear a bikini top. But it's like, then I'm looking back at it, I'm like, well, this is holding me back from just enjoying being outside. I'm literally constantly, when I'm outside, I'm like, oh, is my bum showing or is my legs showing? And it's like, but then I'm not enjoying the 2 months of summers that we have.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's definitely a way you have to learn how to change the way you think about yourself, because if you don't, then you truly are holding yourself back.
Yeah.
So I love that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. And I think a lot of women really, like most women, doesn't matter what they look like, they're so judgmental of themselves. And, you know, we'll never allow anyone to abuse us worse than we'll abuse ourselves. That was a huge thing that I've learned in my past. The other day I had an experience where I was in a store, and you know how unflattering the TVs,
like the
security camera. Yeah, they can be really unflattering to people. And I looked up, the guy at the register had actually pointed Lyndon to it and said, like, that's my son, my 4-year-old, and said, you're on TV. Do you want to be a TV star? And I looked up and I was like, not horrified for the first time ever when I saw myself on a screen like that. And I was like, oh, hey, I look pretty good. And so I'm noticing a massive mind shift on my own, and I've been working on my mindset for a long time, but this way more of an acceptance mindset of where I am now, and, you know, actually putting forth what I speak to other people on a regular basis about loving themselves and opening themselves up. So
amazing.
It's a really, really freeing experience for our listeners when you can get to that place. But I want to touch on what you said earlier is, a lot of times it's dismissive when we say just love yourself, or like the regular stuff. So for people to understand that it doesn't need to be dismissive, and that we can grow from that. And, you know, body liberation and body neutrality is what you said. And I just, that I'm really excited to go out and put those messages forward even more.
Exactly.
And like a big part of that, I always tell people, like, a good way to handle that when you have a negative thought, like we all have them. It does, even body image activists or coaches, whatever, we all have it. We've been conditioned to have these thoughts. So like, just accept that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But instead of judging yourself for like having the thought, so like there's this weird spot that you get into where you're like, I know I want to like my body more. But I still have thoughts that I don't like my body. We tend to have this, I call it the double whammy of shame. It's like, oh, I feel shame about my body. Oh, I shouldn't feel bad about my body. So now I feel shame about having a bad thought about my body. So it's like a double whammy. So I say, okay, so have the thought, I don't like my whatever today, my tum. Instead of putting those judgy goggles on, I say, put on your curiosity goggles and say, why do I feel this way? Yes. What is it? Where did I learn this? Who taught me that a big tum is bad? Who taught me that a soft tummy is bad? Where did I learn this messaging? Like, just get curious about it and start exploring where this all began, because that's probably not your thought. It was like a thought that you received and decided to hang on to. And once you go down that path, then you can decide, like, is this thought actually serving me or is it not? And then decide what you want to do with it, which I think is super powerful. Once we realize we have personal responsibility and we're adults and we can decide what we want to hang on to, then it's like, oh crap, now I have to do something about it, or or it's like, yay, I'm gonna do something about it.
Yes. That actually, like, you bring in a really good point too, because something that, you know, both Lauralee and I are moms, and you know, something that I'm trying even to when we talk to our clients and our women, it's like, you need to learn how to change the way you think about yourself, because if you have kids, they're constantly beside you. If they're looking at you in the mirror and seeing yourself using the negative language about your body, they're learning from that. And, you know, and the whole, you want to be able to be that best role model. You don't want to see your 10-year-old saying, oh, I'm too fat, or my belly, or anything like that. But it starts with you. And that's where they learn from it. So if you can do that, you're not only doing yourself like a service, or being more self-conscious about yourself, but you're also helping your child learn to embrace her own body. Or
and question, like, teach them how to critically think about the messages that they're hearing. And I think of all the skills that we, for some reason, don't teach children in school, or even we just haven't been taught how to do it, is to how to critically think and how to, sorry, my Facebook is on. Let me just go turn that off. Sorry. There we go. Yeah. So that's, I think that's really important, is like, if we can teach ourselves first how to critically think, then we can pass that skill on to kids. And then they can decide for themselves, again, oh, I had a negative thought, maybe not even about the body, just like, my teacher told me that I'm too loud. Then they can think about, okay, was I being too loud? Because I know for me, that was something I used to get in trouble for. And for a long time, I tried to like suppress that part of myself, but now I'm a teacher. So like, I love to talk loudly and like with passion and things like that. So if I had listened to that teacher, maybe I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing, right? And being as outspoken as I am. Yeah. So I think that critical thinking skill is necessary.
Absolutely. I had my 4-year-old in my room the other day, jumping on the chair, like using the arm of my chair and like jumping. I said, what are you doing? He's like, I'm exercising because my belly's too big. And I was like, what? I was horrified. And I was like, no. Your belly is perfect. It's okay to want to be in shape and want to advance yourself and your body and be comfortable and love it. But you don't need to worry. You're 4. You don't need to worry about that. And that made me think, okay, I'm like literally the only person in his life. Not literally, but like there's not a co-parent that's putting things in his head or anything like that. And I'm like, this is all on me. And so I need to reflect on what I'm saying around him or what I'm doing, which I'm on trying to be healthy, working on my health. But that definitely is adjusting how I'm viewing it, because I saw it from a different perspective. And that was a really powerful experience.
Yeah, definitely.
So Teri, can you please tell us about a client that has changed your business and help it evolve? And one that like really touched your heart?
Sure. There's been a lot of people along the way that definitely have like either steered me closer to what I'm meant to be doing or taught me something. And the one I always talk about is my girl Sam, she's like in my Confident Curves posing videos and things like that. But I actually don't want to talk about her right now, because she did it in a good way. She had the traditional client transformation experience where they're like, oh, I can't do this. And then they come in and they're like, oh my God, I look amazing. Like, so that she did that for me, which was amazing. I was like, this is why I do what I do. But the people that truly transformed my business are the ones that probably had the hardest time seeing their photos. So I had this one girl who was not plus size, and everyone assumes someone has body image issues, they must be big. No, she was like maybe a size 4 to 6, whatever. And we shot in Vegas. So it was like this really awesome shoot. And I was like, at that time, I was like, this is the best shoot I've ever done. These are amazing. And then she came in, she brought her husband for the reveal, which normally I don't allow, but that's fine. But he was like, these are great. You look amazing. Da-da. And we were just like, oh, so good. And then I sent out a questionnaire afterwards, and I got it back, and she said, to be honest, I hated the photos. And I was like, what? I was like, what? No. And that's when I realized how important it is as a photographer to be confident that your work is good. Obviously make sure your work is good, but like to have confidence in the work that you're putting out there, it's at least consistent, whatever. Because that made me realize that, okay, so there are going to be some clients that need more than just a photo shoot to help them see this. They are going to need me to talk them through or help them see it from another perspective, or to give them homework. And so as a result of that client, I started to research more about body image psychology, because I was like, okay, she's got the perfect body or whatever. And that's why I was like, body image is not about the body at all. It can't be. We have people that are in these societally perfect bodies that hate themselves even more than people that are in the marginalized bodies. Like, it can't be about the body. Yeah. It has to be about the mind. So that kind of set me on this path to research more about body image psychology in general, mindset, positive psychology, all this good stuff. And from that, I actually created Body Image Bootcamp, which is a course designed to help women through their body image issues, where it started, how they continue to perpetuate it, and then how they want to move forward with new coping mechanisms to deal with the mindsets that they have, and to shift those neural pathways to be something else. And then that obviously, so that was kind of with the clients. And then as a result of that, I started educating photographers, because then I was like, you can teach this to your clients. And then I realized that photographers are probably some of the most self-deprecating group of people ever in the world. And they need this material possibly even more than the majority of our clients. Mm-hmm. The amount of photographers that feel like a fraud doing this work, or like this imposter syndrome. Like, who am I to tell women to love their bodies or love the photos of themselves when I myself don't? Mm-hmm. Like, I get that message all the time, and it's like, no, it's not like when photographers say, when I become body positive, then it'll be great. It's the exact same thing as clients saying, when I lose 30 pounds, then I'll do a boudoir shoot. Yes. It's like, no, body positive or body neutral, this is not a destination. And I think that's the mistake that people make, is they think that when I get there, then everything will be great. It's like, there is no destination. Trust me, I've been trying to find it forever and I can't. So like, instead of focusing on you have to become that person, every day make a decision to take body positive or body neutral action, which means that by doing that, you eventually will become more body positive or body neutral. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Like, it's not an outcome, it is a process. And I think that is the most important thing. So anyways, back to the original question, which was the client. That was the client, because at first my ego was like, what? No, my work. Oh my God. But then it almost made me a little cocky after that with clients. I was like, listen, if you don't like the photos, I'm not going to lie. If I'm showing them to you, they're good. Mm-hmm. Like, so to the clients, I was like, you own part of this responsibility. If you show up already hating the photos, mm-hmm. then it doesn't matter how good that photo is. You're going to see what you decide to see. Mm-hmm. You know, so it helped me change the way I talk to clients and set expectations for them to see their images, and set them up for more of a, hey, I'm not a one-stop shop for your body image issues. You've spent 25 plus years getting here. One photo shoot is not going to undo them all. Mm-hmm. But let me help you with your mindset during your reveal, and then we can go from there.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's so incredible. I remember listening, exactly remember where this came from. Might have been like a Dr. Phil show or something like that. I'm not really sure. But two women can be identical. And the only thing different can be their mindset. Mm-hmm. And they can have completely different lives. And they go through the exact same experiences. They have the exact same, I say women, but I mean people, anybody. They literally can have the exact same everything, except one can be really judgmental on themselves and hard on themselves and hate themselves, and another can love themselves, and their entire life can be so different. And that was something that stuck with me. Again, I don't remember where it's from, but that stuck with me for so long. And that's, to me, it's so powerful. And I myself, as a plus size woman, I've had friends that are not, they are model-esque or something along those lines. They're gorgeous. And they will absolutely be horrified that someone comes up to me in the bar or in the street or somewhere and they're like, "You're so gorgeous." And they've never had that happen to them. And they're like, "Why does that always happen to you?" This is like in my early 20s. And I'm like, "I don't know." They're like, "Why doesn't it happen to me?" I'm like, back then I didn't know, but it's mindset, because I've literally lived my life telling myself that I'm beautiful, telling myself that I like my eyebrows, telling myself that I like this part of me, whatever that is. And growing up younger, especially when this type of conversation wasn't a thing, people couldn't grasp it. And I think people probably still can't fully grasp it, but you know, that's something that I've experienced in my life where I've received a lot of backlash because I do think I'm pretty and I love who I am. And I mean, I have my body issues. Everyone does, as we've said, but you know, like, that's such a powerful thing to realize, that you can have the same experience as someone else, but if you just shift your mindset a little bit, that makes even just a little bit, that makes such a difference.
Totally different. Yeah, it's all in the mind, for sure.
Yeah. So I love all the educating and all the courses that you're doing. What's in your future? How do you see your empowerment empire coming in the next 10 years?
Well, that's like always a hard question for me. You know, like in school, they'd be like, "What's your 5-year?" I'm like, that's so far away. I'm like, as my dad used to say, a fart in a windstorm, like just like all over the damn place. But yeah, I definitely am focusing more on creating content for photographers, less shooting clients, more focusing on the education side of things, because I think it's so impactful. Like when I first got into boudoir, it was to empower as many women as possible. That was like the mission, and it still continues to be. But as one person, I can only photograph, 200 women a year. But if I can educate photographers, then that like takes that mission that much further for me, and it makes that much bigger of an impact, which is what is really important to me. So yeah, really focusing on that, keeping up with the like body image boot camp kind of stuff. I love running those courses, so it really is all that, I think. Educating people. I've gotten into coaching as well, like mentoring photographers, not just on body image, but on like mindset around business. Being I call it a heart-centric entrepreneur, where maybe the typical molds of what we see in the photography industry, like, I know money doesn't drive me, but I still need to get paid. So like, how do you balance those things? Like, get rid of those blocks that get in the way around that. And just like all these self-limiting beliefs that we have, like working through people on their strengths, with people on their strengths is so important to me, to help them be seen. So yeah, so working mostly with photographers is my ideal plan. I just wrote a book, so that's getting published.
For you.
Thanks. It's been in the works for a while, but finally I hired a book coach and was like, please, let's just get this done, because I got to get it out there. Yeah. So hopefully that'll be published by the end of summer, which would be great. And yeah, that's a big
Can you give us a
milestone.
little sneak peek on what the book's about?
Yeah, so it is about body image. It is, so I took a positive psychology course a while back, and as part of my project, I created a program kind of thing, like a way to work through body image issues from the beginning to the end, similar to body image boot camp, but in a lot more depth. So yeah, so it's like part my stories of body image and growing up and the way I shifted my mindset and things like that, as well as part workbook to help people walk through it. And I call it the geode theory because I don't know if you know what geodes are. But they're like basically rocks on the outside. They're gray and kind of ugly and sedimenty, but under pressure they actually create crystals on the inside. And I think every human is kind of like a little geode, but we just, after like people shitting on us for the majority of our life, we end up with this like gray lustless coating that we forget that we actually have sparkly bits on the inside. So we have to chip away at all the things that we've been taught, to finally recognize what is magic on the inside of us and like let it shine through. So yeah, so that's kind of the book, is the premise of like chipping away at body image, essentially, to kind of figure out that, hey, maybe it's not about your body.
Yeah.
Maybe it's about something else. And so it's like the exploration of that kind of, so I find what is daunting for people in terms of body image in general is like, while we know that diet culture is not serving us, there is a certain level of happiness that exists in ignorance. And it's like, it would be just easier if I just kept doing what I used to do, but like once you know, you can't unknow. So there's like this little limbo part between that and like just giving zero fucks about it altogether. Oh, sorry, can I swear on here?
Yeah, it's fine.
So it's the in-between part where I think people get stuck, because once we eradicate all that body image issues, for the most part, like we figure that out, there's like all this mental energy and all this physical energy that's left, and it's scarier to not know what goes in place of that, because it's like, now that that's not taking up my time and distracting me, now I actually have to take action on the real stuff. Oh no, like that's way harder than just like dealing with this tangible part of ourselves, which is our body. So that's like kind of the premise, is like, okay, now we've gotten there, but now we got to build up like the other side of things. So it helps give solutions and stuff like that to work towards a better relationship, not just with the body, but also the mind, I think is the most important. Yep. Wow. So that's what's in store for me.
And sorry, did you say the name of your book?
Oh, so yeah, it'll be called The Geode Theory, Chipping Away at Body Image. Yeah.
That's what I thought you said, but I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
And so how can our listeners find you? We will add your information into the show notes as well, but how can they find you? Where do you know, if you know, where's your book going to be sold when it's released, if you know?
That I don't know yet, but I would assume, because I'm working with an actual publishing house, so they do all the distribution, but I believe, especially in Canada, it'd be like Chapters, Indigo, whatever, McNally Robinson, we have that. I don't know if you have that. Amazon, the usual places like that. But on my website would probably be the easiest, which is terihofford.com. And the spelling is TeriHofford, just because people spell it wrong. So that way I just make sure. Not you guys, but I mean, like,
yeah.
Everyone always puts 2 R's in Teri, so that's why I'm like, no. Or like, you can follow me on Facebook, Teri Hofford. Oh, if you want to follow me as a friend, it's Teri Ledgerwood, just an FYI. Teri Hofford was in jail for nipples, so we don't do that anymore. So we just use Teri Ledgerwood now because she's good. She's a good girl. And on Instagram, Teri Hofford, TikTok, Teri Hofford. That is all the things that I use, I think. YouTube, I think it might be Teri Hofford Photography. Everywhere.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing this interview with us. I'm honestly so excited to learn more about your photography education. That's something that, like, definitely what I want to do for my my clients too, is help them learn and change the way their mindset and how to do that with more than just being a photo shoot.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to like dive into your courses and
Awesome.
get more, maybe a one-on-one kind of thing, but I'm so excited, really excited.
That sounds fantastic. Yeah. So I have one activity that, do you guys want to do it with me? Because I think it would be fun if you have time, but it's like something I do with people to get them to understand like a little bit more about body image, but it is fun for you to do with clients as well. So take out your cell phones. Now, Laura Lee, I think you are on your cell phone, so you can't. So you can do this later. So you just,
okay, I'm ready.
All right, perfect. So you take out your cell phone, and I want you to take a selfie like you normally would.
Oh my God. Okay.
Just like you normally would, you know, find the good light. You're like, cute. I look adorable. Thank you. Love it. Amazing.
Okay. Take a selfie right now?
Yeah, just take your selfie how you would normally take your selfie. Like you normally would.
Done.
Okay, perfect. So now we're going to take a second selfie, and I want you to put it right on your boobs and like look down at it and take the selfie. So get it real close there, real close, and smiling. Love it. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
So out of the two images, which one was your favorite?
Well, obviously the first one I took.
And why is that?
Better angle.
And what does a better angle mean?
You don't see my double chin.
And what does a double chin mean?
Just chunkier.
Chunkier, which means fat, right? Like people are afraid of looking bigger in photographs. So, and most people would say the same thing. They're like, this one is slimmer. We've been taught as photographers to shoot from eye level or slightly higher, especially for women, because it slims them down and makes them smaller. But my question is what angle do your children see you at the most? And do they love you any less because you have a double chin?
No.
Because it's just a fucking angle. We've just been taught that one angle is better than the other because of body image and stuff like that. So that's one of the things we have to help our clients understand. So I say to take that a step further is you take that second photo and you make it your home screen on your phone. Okay. And you get used to the idea that that's just one of your infinite angles. Mm-hmm. You look like different to every single person you meet, but it doesn't mean you're any less loved because of an unflattering angle. We've just been taught that one is more worthy of being documented than the other.
Yes, that
that is false.
Yes, exactly. Wow. That's something that I've actually mentioned to my clients too is, when you look at yourself in the mirror, you only see that one angle. How does your husband see you? How does your child sees you? It's all, you're beautiful all around. So and you're right now thinking about it, like photographers, we need to change the way we think because it's so true. It's like, look, I'm like, I don't know about this one. But my kids see me so much different. My husband sees me way different, and they don't see the double chin. They see the beauty, the confidence, the love I have for them.
And all your accomplishments and all your successes, like all of the things that you are as a person does not go away between angle 1 and angle 2. They're just angles. Yes. We've just been conditioned to believe one is more worthy than the other. So part of the work that I want to do for people is to help people understand, if you are in the middle of a belly laugh and you have 5 chins, but you are like exhibiting actual frickin' emotion, like I'm going to take a picture of that and show it to you because you had fun.
You can feel the emotion though. That's the thing though. You can feel the emotion coming out of the photograph when it's real emotion than when it's fake emotion. And that's something that, like, even for me, and I can tell from your photos for you, is that you want to bring out the emotion on your clients.
Yeah, exactly. So that's just always a fun little thing I get people to do. I'm like, you're worthy at all angles. You've just been taught that one's better than another.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Awesome. Great. Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me, guys.
Okay, bye.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Teri.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.